It's time for Ask Your Auntie, the show that gets real with teen girls about life. They ask, and we answer with tea. Tools for excellence and achievement. The goal? To help girls make better decisions in real time. When you can't ask your mom or G-Ma, ask your auntie. Now here's your host, Marissa Terrell, Esquire.
Got questions? Ask your auntie. I'm Marissa Terrell, but you can call me Auntie M, and I'm the director of the High Tea Society Foundation and the host of this podcast, Ask Your Auntie, where we provide teen girls with reliable answers to their questions. Now let's meet our fabulous guest for today. Hey, Auntie Mertine.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome to Ask Your Auntie.
Thank you.
Now, Mertine, we've known each other for a long,
yes.
Well, let's not say long time, but a lot of time.
Yeah.
I can think back to like the mid-2000s, maybe 2005, 6. I think at the time I was working on that commission for fashion arts. Mm-hmm. And you were modeling, you were designing, right? So tell me, what are you doing these days? What's going on?
Right now, I call myself fashionpreneur Mertine Moore Brown.
Yes.
And I am building a Kickstarter to build more rap training and sewing academy. Ooh. So we can create some jobs here in the DMV.
That's right. Okay, so we know that the mayor is all about career technical skills, and we know that that's what works.
Yes.
It's also another way to keep children in school, to give them some other activity, something to think about and look forward to. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. There used to be a couple of different sewing programs and camps, but not now.
No, all the trades have been taken out of school.
Right.
Intentionally, which is a bad thing.
It's a bad thing. People need things to do. I remember we were so scheduled when I was growing up. I didn't have a chance to do anything nefarious because I was rolling from morning to night with like piano, tap dance, sewing, just swamped.
Right. And you're right. These young people have too much time.
Too much free time.
And we don't have, it's unfortunate that we don't offer them what they need.
Yeah.
Why would you take trades out of the school?
Oh, exactly.
Everyone's not college material.
No. And there's lots of money to be made in that people, and we know that people need, we'll pay for apparel. We know that. Mm-hmm. But it also teaches you other type of dexterous skills. Now, you sew too, right?
No, I've never sewn. I know,
How did
right?
you come up with this great more rap and all this stuff?
Well, initially representing designers.
Oh, I see.
But I grew up here in Washington, D.C., and one of my sisters, all of us modeled, and one of my sisters did sew.
Okay.
So she made our clothes, and we would model them, and I started early as a teenager modeling for the department stores and the newspapers.
That's exciting. Department stores. What department stores were open and then?
Oh, my. It was Woody's. Woodward and Lothrop. Hacks.
Garfinkel's, right?
Garfinkel's was open. And then the newspapers were the Washington Star. Nina Hyde gave me my first job.
What? D.C. was a different place then.
Yeah.
That was back when D.C. would like empty out on the weekends.
Right.
It would be so empty downtown. I guess we're kind of coming back to that, right? Now that the businesses are sort of not, folks are working remotely, it's kind of quiet, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it's not as quiet as it was. Okay, so I'm excited about the more rap. I know that that's your signature. How did you even come up with that concept?
Well, I was looking for something that I could wear 2 or 3 times a week, like a functional garment. Okay. So I started asking designers for a jumpsuit, and I was not happy with the jumpsuits I was receiving. Mm-hmm. So my husband said, why don't you create it? And that's what I did. Mm-hmm. So it's been years in the making, but I'm so very excited to, because you can wrap jumpsuit, dress or gown so many ways.
Yeah.
I wear it every day, and I still find ways. I've never wrapped it before.
I love it.
So, yeah, I'm excited to present it to the public on a larger scale.
Understood. That's fantastic. Well, so, I'm fascinated by your trajectory and where you started, where you are. I know that these days you're working a lot in the criminal justice realm, right? You have a group are you working with called the OGs? What's that about?
Yeah, well, my husband and I, Roach Brown, we produce and host Crossroads radio show on WPFW, another station. And the focus is on returnees because too many of our men and women have served 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they're just coming out. Right. So the OGs now is an organization that they meet every once a month at House of Prayer and for breakfast. And then, it's just like, wow, we need to make a nonprofit so we can get some of this DC money.
Please do.
So that's what has happened. They're nonprofit now, and they're participating in walking young students to school on one of the schools over off Minnesota Avenue. And so all hands on deck is the concept. Because the guys who caused the issues then are the ones now who can solve the issues.
I love that.
So we need to find the money, government, DC, to pay these men.
Are you listening out there?
Right. Pay these men because they're dedicated now. They've been through that. They were mentoring these guys in prison, so why not let that continue?
Oh, that is such a great idea. And it actually comes right back to what we do with High Tea Society, because we understand that part of the trauma that our girls have suffered actually really does impact their behavior.
Oh, yeah.
And their ability to focus, especially in schools. And so it's, we call those distracted parents, They're distracted parents and guardians, distracted by incarceration or mental illness, poverty, homelessness, and all of these things contribute. And so that's why we have a program like this, where we try to provide aunties like you who can share some wisdom, some information, so that our girls don't feel like they're completely alone. We all had to navigate high school, and it's not easy.
No, it wasn't. I mean, I did high school in 2 years. That's how much I wanted to be out.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it wasn't that I was...
How is that even possible? Okay, wait a minute. So we're about to move straight into the part of this show where we learn about Auntie Mertine. Because remember, sugars out there, we do not take directions from anyone who is lost. So we've got to get to know Auntie Mertine and what happened to her in high school. So please tell us more. What are you talking about? How did that even happen?
Well, what happened is, I didn't like going to school.
Okay.
I lived around the corner from Roosevelt High School. Me, all my sisters, we went there. And so I wanted to get out as fast as I could.
I love this.
So I went to night school.
How old were you?
I was like 15 because I was 16. Yes, I was 16 when I graduated because I did high school 2 years, and I did a semester at night so I could get out fast.
I do not believe
And
this.
I was bad, though, because, people would nominate me to be the secretary or this or that. Yeah, and I would say, I decline. I decline. And I was like, so I would recommend to young people, accept it. When someone nominates you for something, accept it. I just declined everything.
It was because why? Because you didn't want to be bothered.
I just didn't want to do it. But ironically, I ended up working my first year at Department of Corrections, and then I went to Spelman. So I did go to college.
Oh, but, this is so fascinating.
Yeah, I didn't go to the prom. I didn't walk across the stage. So don't do like I did. But I did complete school.
Well, what an interesting. So we always get so many questions about our girls are saying, I hate school. I want to drop out of school. I want to go to work. And here you are telling me that, okay, if that's what you want to do, at least get your degree.
Right. You definitely got to get your diploma. That is not an option to not complete school.
So if that's what you want to do,
Go
Auntie
fast.
Martina said you can fast track that.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. All right. So growing up in D.C., what was that like during this period?
It was wonderful.
Yeah?
My father was a pastor.
Okay.
My mother was a musician, Mary Lacey Moore. She played the organ and piano. She played for churches, funerals, weddings, taught piano at home. In fact, she was the first entrepreneur I knew, but I didn't know she was an entrepreneur. But she worked from home, teaching piano lessons there. So childhood was great. I had 5 sisters sisters, 2 brothers. The brothers were on the ends, oldest and youngest, and 6 girls in the middle.
What?
So we had a great life. Israel Baptist Church was across the street from where we grew up. So every Sunday after church, my dad would get 6 bags of potato chips. 8 bags and 8 candy bars. And that's what we had till dinner. And then unfortunately, my dad, he went to school first for religion, and my mother was in the School of Music. That's where they met, at Howard University.
Oh, okay.
And then after all 8 children were born, my dad went back to school for his master's in social work. Okay. And then 8 months after that, he passed. He had a cerebral hemorrhage. So my dad passed when I was 6. So that was very, very difficult. But my mom was so strong. She was able to move us out of Northeast. We moved uptown to 13th and Taylor. And childhood was good. We did not have a bad childhood.
Okay. I love to hear this backstory. It tells me so much more about you. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so as a teen, and you're part of this big family, what were some of your responsibilities?
Oh, everybody had to cook one day.
All right.
My dish was tuna fish and potato chips. Everybody had to have a meal. So that was what I made on my day. And we kept the house clean. Everybody had to sweeping the front porch. So we lived, I want to check this out. We lived in Northeast on 11th Street. So downstairs, my mother and father had their bedroom, which was really the living room. And then upstairs, in the middle was 6 girls. We had 2 sets of bunk beds.
Oh, my goodness.
And then my older brother was like a teenager. He slept like in the furnace room. And then our grandparents were there. So
it was a full house.
Yes, it was.
It was a full house. Okay, so you went to Roosevelt High School.
Yes.
Roosevelt's a big school.
Oh, yeah.
Co-ed.
Yeah,
right?
Co-ed. Yeah, from Golden in Northeast to Powell in Northwest to McFarland to Roosevelt.
So I'm just intrigued by the fact that you had your own mind that young to decide. Were there other of your friends that also decided to do this fast track through school? This was just Martine.
Yeah, I was probably just trying to follow my older sisters.
Oh, I see.
Doing my day. They were out. So
you were like, I want to be out too. Okay, I get it. So as a teen, where did you reach for advice? Did you go to your mom? Did you go to your older sisters? If something's troubling you, where do you go?
I think we were pretty open. We would all sit around and share our different opinions about things. So I think that's very important, that children, that young people have an outlet to share, that whatever you say, the people won't make fun of you, won't tease you, because some of us would do crazy things, but we still supported each other. So I think it's very, very important for young people to have an outlet. Yeah. People who trust them, who won't ridicule them because sometimes we say crazy, stupid things, and we do crazy, stupid things. But we still need our family and our parents to still love us no matter what.
No matter what.
So we did have that.
Okay, that's wonderful. All right, well, I'm feeling comfortable, okay? I feel like I've gotten to know you a little bit more. I want to start with some of these questions that our teenage girls have submitted to us. Okay, so here we go. Mm-hmm. This is our Q&A portion. All right.
All right.
So the first one, if you had a chance to give a high school girl advice about navigating high school, what would be like the one thing that you would want to tell her that you might have learned through your pathway?
I would definitely tell her to be her own self. Think for herself, because a lot of times too many young people are influenced by their peers. And your peers sometimes, they don't know any more than you know.
They don't.
So
and sometimes they have ulterior motives too. Sometimes they want you to follow down a path sometimes they want you to follow along a path that they took.
Thinking for yourself, following your own heart, your own mind.
Right. So thinking for yourself and following your own mind, your own heart is so important. But one of the things that we notice is that when it comes to teenage girls, there's like this bit of a fear factor where they sometimes they want to be so much a part of the group that they don't want to go against the grain. So I guess when they're presented with a question or a challenge or a pathway, which direction to go, what do you think they should do? Take a step back, get quiet. How do they know their own mind? That's coming from the whiz. How do you know your own heart, your own mind?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a tough one.
Well, hopefully the people around you, even if it's only one person around you that you can go to when you're really feeling like you don't know what to do, where to go, who to turn to. It is so important who you let in your space.
In your circle.
You know, I had 5 sisters, so I didn't really have friends. I didn't need a lot of girlfriends. I didn't get caught up in a lot of that. But you have to have one person that you can trust. Because a lot of times young girls are just jealous of each other. Yeah. Just because. Because I don't like the way you look. You know, you're pretty. And that I'm jealous of that. You're smart. You know, you act more confident than me. All of those kind of things just make you insecure when you're young. So you really got to have one person, at least one person you can go
to. That you can trust.
And you know what? You got to trust God. We grew up in the church. I have to say that. We grew up in the church. That was a given on Sunday. And then as we got older in high school, you know, you go out on Saturday night. Our mom's like, you getting up on Sunday morning. If you can go out on Saturday night, you surely can get up on Sunday morning. And I know you got that same message.
Thing, girl. My preacher dad, absolutely. Not a choice.
Not a choice.
No, but it makes a difference. And the other thing you could say is that you don't always have to make that decision right then. Take a step back. If it's a big decision, you're trying to figure out, should I date this guy? Should I go to this party? Think about it. Think about what possibly could happen. Who's going to be there? What happened last time? Yeah. You know, you've got to sort of think. And then that feeling that you get, that kind of sick feeling, that feeling of like dread where you're nervous, that's like, listen, that's your intuition. That's the Holy Spirit that's telling you, wait, darling, don't move, you know, before you. So I appreciate that. Okay, so having your own mind, and that's something you have to cultivate.
You do, but you know what I always think about? One night we were out at a party, going out, and one of the girls with us, she said, I better do everything I'm going to do because I don't know when I'm going to get out again. See, so when parents have you so strict, I never left that, you know, hearing her say that. I better do everything I can tonight because I don't know when I'm getting out again. I'm like, wow. Yeah. You know, and growing up, all the boys were on our porch, you know, after school.
Well, I guess
all the girls.
Six girls.
Right, so we didn't, you know, people say, oh, those more girls, one of them going to get pregnant before school. None of us got pregnant before graduating from high school because the boys were on our porch. Yeah. My mother didn't have to worry about that. So if you have an open relationship with people, you know, children who, like, fall back to just be among themselves. Because I had a couple of cousins. Oh, I don't want to go. And they would just leave their child there. Those are the girls that got pregnant. I mean, you don't need any free time when you're a teenage girl.
Not by yourself.
Right.
Okay, here's another question. Here's a sugar asking us. So she's almost 18. Okay. She's thinking about voting soon, and but she's looking around and she's saying she don't think voting works because look at the state of the United States. Right, we are in turmoil from the north to the south, the east to the west. We're just coming after this whole Black Lives Matter movement, and that's still going strong. So should she vote? This is her question. Does it even matter?
Yes. I agree. We are in a horrible situation in America. We have a man wouldn't even leave office, was trying to be a dictator then. And for people to even think of him coming again, but it's very important. Number one, think about our ancestors. Yes. They were hung, they were killed, trying to vote. Obviously, it's important, or people wouldn't be going through all these changes to prevent us from voting. So I have nephews who are 40, tell me, I'm not going to vote. I think that's very selfish and ignorant. Not to vote. If you want to make change, you got to get involved. How's anything going to change if you're just sitting back and not doing anything? Voting matters.
Voting matters. And it also is important for you to sort of learn what some of the issues are. So even as a young person, you know what some of the problems are in DC, right? So it's important to kind of get into the conversation. Just listen, and you'll be able to learn more about what our leadership is doing or not doing.
Yeah, and you said the important word, listen. You know, a lot of, where are you listening? You know,
where are you
remember
listening?
right in the height of all the evil ugliness that was going on during the pandemic, a commentator was saying to a person, well, so-and-so said this is true. He said, well, it depends who you're listening to. And that's the bottom line. Who are you listening to? Because you're going to believe what you believe based on who you're listening to. So try to keep an open mind. And like you say, follow your heart. What do you believe? What can you do to make a difference? Because everybody can. Young people are more powerful than they know.
Well, that was big. They were the heart of most of the revolutions in any country. Are the young people? It's not the older people, because they have all these responsibilities. It's the 18 to 20, upper 20s that are agitating for change, right? So we are counting on them.
Yeah.
To get into the conversation, right?
And too many of our young black people who are making money, making 6 figures or good 5 figures, they're not thinking.
They've abdicated. They're just sort of
I got mine.
I'm on a mountaintop. But as my mom used to say, there'll come a time if we don't take care of the poor and take care of people who are disenfranchised, it'll just be like the French Revolution all over again. You cannot hide from people who are feeling like they have nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have no protection. So you have to come up with ways to be inclusive and to take care of folks. Right?
Yep, that's very important.
Okay. All right, well, this is good. I'm learning stuff too. Thank you, AunTea Mertine. Okay. Here's another one. So my best friend joined this crew of girls, right? They make money by boosting. And so this sugar is saying that she's scared for her and she wants to know what can she do to get her to stop.
You got to be honest with her. Just say, girl, you're going to end up in jail.
That's right.
That's the bottom line. You're going to end up in jail. And why? Why do you? It's not a rites of passage. We don't even have to think that way. And being honest with each other is hard. A lot of people, it's hard.
Yeah, because you could lose her as a friend. You would feel like you say, if I give her like this tough love, if I say I'm not going to hang out with you, if you're going to be doing this, you might miss her, right?
Yeah. It's really hard, but you got to tell her, look, I'm not going to roll with you if that's what you're doing. If you want to hang out with those girls, you can just count me out right now because I'm not doing it. You have to understand the value, self-love.
Yes.
Self-love, self-respect. And that is so hard, and just start easy. Just put it on your mirror. I love myself. I'm great. I'm gorgeous. You got to brainwash yourself.
Basically, I have a mantra on my mirror right now. The things that I want to do, the places I want to go, and just reaffirming, that, because I wasn't, I didn't come out the womb feeling like I was special and beautiful and I was teased because of this and that. But you have to get over this, and that takes telling yourself a different narrative.
That's right. I tell my young nieces and nephews, say it. Whatever you want. When you see a photo of a house, of a car that you like, put it on the wall. Things manifest when you see them, when you confess it. You can't keep saying, oh, I'm so stupid. I shouldn't have done it. Stop talking like that to yourself.
Yeah.
Even say it till you believe it. I'm beautiful. Yes. I'm beautiful. Keep saying it till you believe it.
I love that. That's true. That's true. I remember back in the day, because I did not see a lot of people my color, right? Because it wasn't in media at the time. Right now, we have a lot of beautiful images. So I would cut up Essence magazine photos, put them all over my walls just to remind myself, oh, no. Naomi Sims is beautiful.
Right.
Her color, so what's the problem? You have to give yourself a counter story. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, here's another one. I'm watching our time, but my brother is in jail. I really miss him.
Oh, wow.
What can I do to let him know that I care and I'm thinking of him?
Write them. Make sure you're always writing them and uplifting him when and telling him the same thing. You're great. God put something in you. What is your passion? I asked a young guy the other day, what is your passion? And he said, what do you mean? I said, what would you do if you weren't getting paid to do it? Mm-hmm. What would you do? And that's what you need to focus on. Well, how? Because God gave everybody in us is everything we need. Yeah. But we have squashed it down. We're not believing in ourselves. We're listening to other people. And young girls, don't you dare let a boy put his hands on you. That's number one. Don't you dare let anybody cuss at you. Which is hard because so many parents are cussing at them.
Yes, it is. It's like the way we communicate now. It's the lyrics in the songs now. You find yourself repeating them now to the point where it no longer you think it doesn't have an impact. But as you say, words have power. That's why in religion, like the word of God has power. Yes. Words have power because we give them meaning, right? We give them a definition. So if you're going to call yourself a bee or you're going to call yourself this, after a while, you start saying, well, if I'm that, then I would act like this, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what I listened maybe a couple of weeks ago. I had a young guy in the car, and I just hit Pandora radio, and it was the first time I ever heard Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, and the words they were saying, I could not believe it. I'm like, no wonder these young girls are acting like they're acting. Why can't you talk about more beautiful things instead of just the body? I was floored with the words they were saying.
It's amazing because it's like you're giving. It's almost like with the N-word. We allow other people to use this terminology. So, of course, it gets turned back on us. Right. If the women are saying these terms, and of course the guys are going to respond and then want to not only talk to us like this, but treat us like this. And they start thinking, because, guys do what you allow them to do, right?
Exactly.
They have an agenda, and they're going to push you until you move toward a way that they want. So if you listen to the lyrics of their songs, they're talking about all their fantasies of what they want you to do. That doesn't mean you do that.
Right.
Because if more women are like, no, this is not what we're doing, they will comport themselves differently because they still want to hang out with you. That's true.
It is. Yeah. So, and there's different shows on TV. And the worst, some of these reality shows, we're talking about women who are 40 and 50.
Oh, I know.
Throwing drinks in your face. Come on.
Hair.
You can't control your emotions.
Girl, and it has made things rough for me. I'm traveling around the United States, and people looking at me, and they're like, oh, is this a housewife? Exactly. Because now they're seeing Black women in a professional state. Yep. You look a certain way, and they're like, oh, I know exactly what she's going to do. You really don't, but that's this perception. Martine, I can sit here and talk to you for hours and hours. This has been so much fun. I want to have you come back. I want to thank you for sharing some tea with us. Growing up in D.C. is hard, but sugar, you don't have to do it alone. Join us every week for reliable answers to your questions. I'm Auntie M, director of the High Tea Society. You can contact us on Instagram at High Tea Society INC. We have the tea to help girls succeed. Tools for excellence and achievement.
You've been listening to Ask Your Auntie with your host, Marisa Terrell, Esquire. The transition from girlhood to womanhood can be difficult without guidance. We have the tea to help girls succeed. When you can't ask your mom or G-Ma, ask your auntie.